Well, with that, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us here tonight. We are 20 Sides to Every Story, and we're a gaming channel. We're a community. We stream a lot of our games here on Twitch, as in the is the case for this game, and we upload these sessions to our YouTube channel. And with this game in particular, I try to edit this down so that you cut out all the my ums and uhs and my clumsy speech and I don't know, if we have a shopping session or something, I try to cut out all the boring stuff and just give you the summary so that you're getting the best parts of our sessions. And so we take all that, we put that on YouTube, and then that's also available as an audio podcast. If you can't catch one of our games, you can always check that out and find that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast stuff. So I'm Alex. I'm going to be the GM for this session, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely group of players here. We have Ryan back playing Geoffrey the Knight. We have Winston playing Silver the Elf. Moreen playing Lillibeth the Hunter. Issac playing Stephen Fitzpatrick the Friar. Chris playing Thomas, this one's weird, the Bard. And Dawson playing Topsy the Grimalkin. So this is us jumping right back into Dolmenwood, which we have been playing since. I had to double check this, but we've started in 22.
Really?
Yeah, it was 2022. I was
Wow.
like, I didn't think it was that long, but I guess with breaks and hiatuses and things like that, it feels like it shouldn't be that long, but there it is. So anyways, the long story short, we've been doing this for a while. So if you want to check out the past stuff, you can always look it up on our YouTube channel, 20 Sides to Every Story, or like I said earlier, go find the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. It should be up on most of the major platforms for that. So if you really like what we're doing and you want to support, the best way to do that is through Patreon. Do give our Patreon supporters early access to the edited podcast versions of our games. The big bonus right now is sometimes we invite people that support the Patreon to come play games with us, and we have an open call right now. I'm looking for X-Crawl participants. So if you support at the Electrum tier or higher, and actually Moreen has helped get us our first team. So we've got a team of X-Crawlers that'll be coming on I think exactly 2 weeks from now on a Saturday. So if you want to play in some of that kind of stuff, go check it out on our Patreon page, patreon.com/20 Sides Every Story, and get the details on all that. So yeah, so I think the way we're going to kick this off is I'll just give a short introduction. You know, we kind of did a weird thing in the middle of the campaign where we had some of the people in our community come on and play some games in Castle Xyntillan. And so the reality check there is that everybody here isn't all 100% in the know about what happened in all of those sessions and everything. So going to do just a little recap to kind of tie all of those sessions together and give them some meaning as we go forward with whatever they decide they want to do from here. So let us begin. So our characters, you guys have been this past month in Fort Vulgar, which is a small settlement. It's on the northernmost tip of Lake Longmere. It's a key stop for trade. Boats from the south bring cargo up this way, kind of keep the isolated communities of the far north connected to the rest of the realm of Brackenwold. You guys all came here because you had divined at one point the location of Horblight Keep, which is the Cold Prince's castle. And it is not so far from Fort Vulgar. So kind of de facto, Fort Vulgar kind of became your home base a bit. Kind of immerse yourself there at the inn and set up shop there. And that's where we brought in some hirelings from the 20 Sides community to come and play some level 1 characters to kind of fill out those sessions. You'd all heard rumors that there was wealth, treasure, knowledge hidden there. When you got to the castle, you started to learn a little bit about its grim history. So after the Cold Prince was banished away to his realm of Phrygia after the Great War that happened some centuries ago, the keep was renamed Castle Xyntillan. and it fell under the stewardship of the Malevol family, which is a now defunct noble house. And so you learned very quickly that all of the people that carry that name and that lineage are cursed. We really didn't learn why or how, but probably the common speculation is that the Cold Prince maybe left some magics there to afflict upon mortals who would dare encroach upon what is his domain and what is his property. The nature of this curse is it seemed that it transfixed the various Malevols into forms of undeath, zombies. We had some skeletons, we had some specters, ghosts, and other worse things. And they were all quickly became very apparent that they weren't very welcoming guests of all of you wandering their halls. They put up significant resistance to you exploring their castle. But treasure you did find, maybe not in the form that you would have expected, but hidden below in the catacombs of the castle was a wine cellar, fully stocked with kegs and casks stacked all the way up to the ceiling. This was the mother lode, and the group of you, I think it was Geoffrey, I don't know, but somebody came up with this scheme of let's hire some townsfolk to come out and dredge up these kegs, like it seems like I don't know if we tried that plan before, but there it was. And you had a healthy supply of folk in Fort Vulgar that were looking for work, because as we know, the dock workers didn't have a lot to haul because there were stories of a monster out on the lake that had caused all shipping basically to cease. Not that you all know anything about that either. So, you hired a bunch of these unemployed dock workers. You bought another wagon. You got a couple more horses. You brought some block and tackle, and you set up this nice little system to haul kegs and barrels pretty efficiently out of the wine cellar and loaded them up on this wagon. To date, I believe, I'd have to look at my log, but I think you got like 30 some barrels that you'd pulled up. Pretty much your wagon is at capacity. So things were looking good, but on the last trip, things took a bit of a dark turn. You all explored the castle, or the group that was out there explored the castle. You returned to the cellar to find that all the dock workers had been slain. It was a gruesome scene, piercing wounds on the necks of the fallen, blood just pooling across the floor. Pretty unmistakable what maybe had caused this, and as if there could be any doubt, sitting on top of one of the casks was a full wine glass, likely not wine. And so whoever the vampire of Castle Xyntillan was, or is, they left their calling card and a warning seemingly saying, don't come back. This wasn't the first time that the party's business ventures had ended in such a tragedy for locals. It brings to mind a tale from an earlier expedition to the incandescent grottos where you'd hired woodworkers from Drag to mine magical crystals. And that story has a similar end. So now you all find yourselves sort of as pariahs within this very small community that lives here at Fort Vulgar. The people haven't said much to you, maybe even those that were pretty chatty with you. For the past week, there's been funeral services for the slain that have been held by Father Edgar Drabe at the Chapel of St. Dugan. And where there was once music and laughter at the inn where you've been staying, there's now only silence. The barge folk who once welcomed the party now greet them with cold stares and whispered accusations. So a happy start. to our game. So, like I said, it's been about a week or so since all of that has happened. My thinking is, you've been hanging around a bit to pay respect. How much worse could this look if you just ducked town almost immediately after? And so, but I want to give you guys all a chance to reintroduce your characters and like tell us a little bit about them, maybe what they've been up to this past week, and maybe just where's their head at as we get started here again. So, Ryan, I don't know if I can have you lead us off.
Yeah, Ryan Garthok here playing Sir Geoffrey. And I think Geoffrey is, he's upset. I think he probably when he came up with this idea to hire people, he didn't, like often happens with Geoffrey, he probably didn't think far enough ahead or think about the possibility of all these people dying. We put into certain safeguards and had, watches and stuff, and we were like, sure this was going to be safe. So I think he's probably upset, and I think he's probably been like sending letters home and trying to figure out what the right next move is, right? Is it time to get out of town, or do we need to, like, I don't know, slay this vampire, and to redeem himself, because maybe he feels, as a knight, and with this homestead back at home to think about now, I think he's really thinking about those things, honor and doing what's right and kind of growing up, and he feels like he screwed up here. So I think he's a bit somber this past week, and he still hasn't decided what the right thing to do is.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's go next to Winston and hear from Silver.
Yeah, so I am playing Silver upon his brow, who's an elf in the Dolmenwood style. But I would say that, and I go by Silver for short, just to make everyone's life a little bit easier. So for Silver, Silver is an elf. Now, Silver tries to conceal his fairy nature when he is out with humans. He's learned, even though he doesn't have that much experience in the non-fairy realm, he realizes that there's a bit of distrust, especially in Dolmenwood. So he tends to keep that careful, but over this time period, he's been interacting with the townsfolk and kind of getting to know them. But now that things are turning sour, he's keeping a low profile, because this is not the time to be a fairy walking amongst all these people that have had this very terrible, mysterious thing happen. And so maybe he's, kind of cautioning his Grimalkin friend, who will come up in a minute. He's like, hey, let's not go carousing. Let's not try to be too whimsical around everybody. And he's been working on his epic poem, and running into a bit of like a trouble. He's like a creative block at this point, because it's happened. This problem has gone down. He wasn't a part of the party, I think, when it originally happened the first time in the grottos. That was a different ill-fated character. And so he's trying to like process like the guilt. He's immortal. He doesn't really, even dealing with death is just kind of a complicated thing as a fairy. And so I imagine I'm holed up in the inn trying to not draw too much attention.
And given the nature of the sword that you carry, you probably just seem like a drunk character in the shadows of of the tavern. Yeah.
That's
do you think?
True. So I guess.
Do you think that Silver understands the extent to which he appears drunk as a result of the curse? Do you think he knows how other people perceive him?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for everyone who's unaware, I carry Alfheim, which is a mythical sword that has a curse. It's excellent at slaying the undead, relevant to Geoffrey. But it is the curse makes me appear like a drunken buffoon, which I'm already buffoonish. So this adds a little extra drunken component to it. It even messes up my glamours. I have all these glamours to like make me extra beautiful that don't really function quite right. It makes you look even more hungover and drunk. So the answer to the question, from Silver's perspective, he comes across eloquent. He comes across that like he's nailing everything exactly like he would. He was a member of the court. He's lived a long life, and he thinks he's nailing it, but unfortunately comes across drunk, which I think is exactly perfect. It's exactly what a drunk experience is like. Or you think you're just nailing it, and you're not really realizing how drunk you look. But he is smart enough to realize that people react strangely to him at times, and so he tries to be careful exactly how he presents himself.
Another thing I just thought of, and of course it brings to mind the fact that there are so many details. So we've been playing this campaign for so long. There's so many details and little bits and pieces of story that factor in. But another thing I'm just thinking of is for both Silver and Topsy, this has probably been the most miserable month of your life because you're sitting smack dab in the middle of the Ring of Chell, which is of course, for those unfamiliar, the Ring of Chell is basically a circle, very wide circle, miles upon miles wide of dolmen stones that are basically put in place to keep the Cold Prince at bay. They're the primary objects of magical power that keep him sealed away in Phrygia. And so this does create a little bit of a malaise, and probably the feeling of being hungover is probably a good way of kind of thinking of it. And it does interfere with some of their fairy magic.
Yeah.
So the whole package just reinforces that Silver looks and feels and is perceived as in that state.
Yeah, and I would think that from Silver's perspective, definitely supportive of Geoffrey. Silver tends to be on board. He brought, encouraged us to go here. Like, this is kind of, how he was reintroduced coming back from the fairy land of fairy. But to that point, vibes are bad. We've only made things worse. I feel like throwing up constantly. Maybe more interested in getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next, let's go to Moreen. Hear about Lillibeth.
So I'm very happy to be back. I'm as Moreen. Lillibeth, on the other hand, is miserable as well. She's already suffered a number of different mishaps that have made her a little bit suspect. She wears a half mask, a high scar on her face. She tends to keep her head down. She was cynical to begin with, and that hasn't changed a whole lot except for around certain people and certain things. Her familiar's not the right word, companion animal, is a mischievous creature that hides out in the backpack and apparently sometimes thieves things that have to go and put back, especially food, especially really good food. So I haven't been really feeling welcome or comfortable the entire time I've been here either. I'm really worried about, inappropriately probably worried, too much worried about one of our former companions, not the right word, I guess, fellow travelers, who seems to have gotten herself mixed up in some very bad stuff. So I'm pretty gloomy to begin with. I'm certainly gloomy now. My best way of handling that is to keep my cloak, hood over my head, my face down. I'm not drinking. I just tend not to drink, and I'm been for the past week trying to convince Paku that he can't steal everything in sight, and trying to go hunting with little to no success. So I have been fairly non-responsive.
I'm reminded of something that maybe not everyone remembers or is aware, but in game, tomorrow would have been the end of Kezi's contract, but unfortunately, she didn't make it to see the end of that contract through. She perished in one of the excursions to Castle Xyntillan, and I only bring it up right now because I believe that there was a bit of a mutual respect between the two hunters, the NPC hunter and Lillibeth.
There definitely was. definitely. We couldn't even bring her body back. I mean, again, walking through the woods, trying to reestablish that I am who I think I am.
Well, let's turn it over next then to maybe the Friar has some words of encouragement, comfort, solace. Let's hear from Isaac.
I am Isaac. I'm playing Friar Fitzpatrick. I am a human friar, the older brother of Sir Geoffrey. A while ago, he kind of ran away from his duties as the next in line for his house of noble birth, and left it to Sir Geoffrey. Since then, they've found each other again in Dolmenwood, and with the rest of the group have been going on many different adventures. And I mean, surprisingly, most recently, before we even got through here, was like the first or second time we actually went into the wood. So we've stayed to the path, and that's probably why most of us are probably still alive when we started. But either way, that's his really his way of thinking, is that he feels that it is his duty to keep his friends alive. He is kind of a backliner that tends to focus on healing, and more importantly, reeling in his idiot brother that seems to always want to go on adventure and such. Right now, currently, he is, though he has been found occasionally, or more than occasion, to be at the bar drinking wine with the villagers and whatnot. Now that there's a bit of it is a bit more solemn now. I would say that he would try his best to go to the families who lost members, whether they would have them or not, and leave a little bit of gold for each one, kind of as it couldn't really be payment, but just something to help them buy. He would definitely give them a bit more than probably what that they were being paid. He would add a little bit extra, and those that would have him would try to talk. He would talk to and try to comfort in some way and pray with. Friar Fitzpatrick, though he is a follower of the one true God, is not really keen with the whole establishment. He kind of fight the man as far as the church itself and its system, and especially with what he's learned in the past about kind of how things have been done. He really seems to still stand firm in that practice. So that's Friar Fitzpatrick.
And just to bring a little bit of the Castle Xyntillan into it, during your time there, you did meet a cleric of the one true God of the church, and oddly enough, he also had a brother named Geoffrey, who was a knight that was wandering around. So there is some evidence that, whatever you want to make of that, the church sent somebody to Castle Xyntillan, apparently on kind of an errant quest to recover some old religious artifacts that they were trying to pry from their depths. Although part of that was because the cleric in question was of medieval blood. I guess both of them, they're brothers. It was his brother. They were both of medieval blood. So I don't know. Does the church know more than they say publicly about such things?
Do.
You know?
Of course they do.
So, and I'm looking in the chat real quick. First of all, got to say hi to Adrian, played one of the characters that played through the Castle Xyntillan, and lost said character. I think he even played, what was it, Sir Geoffrey the Lesser? Was that the nickname?
I think it was his name, yeah.
So I guess that makes you, Ryan, you're Sir Geoffrey the Greater, just by default.
I wouldn't say that.
A lot of pressure.
Who else? I see Tux out there say hello to you. And I see Trevelyan Hart says, is this by chance with the updated system? We're going to try. We'll probably have to stop and rule check at times just to see if we're getting it right. But we've converted all of our character classes here to the new ones and everything like that. So, yes, we are. All right, let's go next to Chris. Hear about Thomas the Bard.
Thomas the Bard. Thomas Arnhold Penrose Mournspire the Seventh, actually. But for the last month, he has, I suppose he's been serving kind of as the quartermaster. When people would come back, he was making sure that there were rooms, and he was kind of handling the logistics and everything. Sounds like things were going all right till a week ago, and then things went sideways. Thomas, one of the things that had endeared him to Sir Silas so long ago when they were held captive in what was it, the Lumoran Empire, right? Was his ability to kind of lift spirits and tell stories and sing songs and kind of, even in a somber place, bring out at least a modicum of joy. So with what had occurred for the last week, Thomas probably being, maybe a little more right-brained, and, people, it's terrible. Some people die. I mean, it happens. It's terrible, but, celebration of life. He probably would have offered to play music at the services, sing songs, maybe talk to the families, get a sense, and maybe use his oratory to tell some stories about people to at least attempt to lift the spirits of the town folk. Do a little PR, make sure that they didn't, torches and pitchforks us out of town. But that being said, seeing that the mood was, he wasn't really able to lift that, he would be working to get things ready to head out as soon as everybody was ready and wanted to. So
Awesome. Thank you. And then lastly, let's go to Dawson. Tell us about Topsy.
I am playing, I remember what my name was Topsy Fluffikins. That was a real banger of a name. Who is a Grimalkin that, and for those who don't know, Grimalkin is a type of fairy that looks like a cat person. Their pattern of fur is that of more of a calico. And I'd say for general mood, Silver came up to her earlier and said, hey, we gotta keep it on the down low a little bit, but in his drunken stupor, she would reply with, don't worry, young guy, I got you covered, and then would immediately just hang out at the building known as the Cat House for most of the time, not realizing it's a brothel, but thinking it's more of a luxurious retreat for Grimalkin, because why else would it be named Cat House? And her general mood set, I would say, is very high-spirited. It's like, oh boy, look at us, we went in this castle, we got all this gold. My whole job here is just to carry the gold for some people who don't want it stolen off of their person. This is great. But think about all these barrels, like not paying attention to any of the death and terribleness that's going on in town. Just a constant ball of high spirits.
So we have, there's some contrast a bit amongst the group, it sounds like. So we are picking back up, and today is the 7th of Braghold, which is late autumn. So something to keep in mind, winter is coming. It's not that far away. So we're at the point where the leaves in the woods have definitely turned at this point, and many of them are dropping as we are in the last month. It's a very clear, chilly day. You all have been staying at an inn called the Chook's Knob. It's an old wooden warehouse building with a tarred roof that is on the southern side of Fort Vulgar, and it is named after that sea monster that has all of the dock workers and the ferrymen kind of spooked. And for good reason. It is not just a fairy tale or a tall tale that idle dock workers tell one another. There's been very clear physical evidence that it is out there, and several of the dock workers have had experiences with it at this point. And so I would imagine you have kind of gathered together an early breakfast. I think as we're getting started here, you can see again, any of the dock workers, all of them are tattooed. They've got the marks on their arms of their years of service and everything like that. None of them casting warm glances at all in your direction. The Bregel woman who runs this shop, this inn, very curtly brings you breakfast and the things like you are owed with your coin to her. And you can hear outside, it sounds like you can hear voices calling at each other and coordination. It sounds like the sounds of barrels and crates and things like that moving about. And as you look outside, you can see that Wiglow Boggleman, who is a human woman in her early 50s, she's out there with a crew of some of the dock workers, and they're loading up your wagon. And it looks like under the supervision of Sir Osric, who is basically the leader here in Fort Vulgar. He is the one that leads the Vulgar Knights and tends to the fort that is in the northwestern side of the village. So you're getting the feeling that everyone knows that today's the day that you're heading out, and they are getting you ready to be on your way. And so you're all waking up, you're getting your breakfast, you're down in the tap room of the inn. I'll kind of pass it to you to hear what kind of discussions and things like that you're having for your presumed travel today. And just for your awareness, because you may not remember or know, presumably where you're going to go with all of this is to Prigwort, which would be to the east. It's essentially like a 2 days journey to Prigwort. Kind of the perfect place to bring all of these casks, because it is a town that is governed by basically a council of brewmasters. It is known for all of the great minds of alcohol are there, like they brew the best stuff there. They would have the best taste masters. They would have the people that would be able to appraise what you have and give it the stamp of authenticity, because of course what you have, if it is good still, it isn't just some beer or some wine that someone would drink. It's historical. It's the kind of thing that lords would pay incredible amounts of coin just to say that they have a keg of that. And so that I'm just trying to lay on the importance of what you have is spectacular. And Geoffrey's probably already done the calculations of like how many tens of thousands of gold you'll be able to fetch with what's in your wagon.
It's historical preservation as well.
Makes me feel a little bit guilty about the keg that I gave out freely to the dock workers.
I don't know why that would make you feel guilty, Silver. Hopefully they enjoyed it. Sort of like a
But
Farewell drink.
But do they truly appreciate the context in which this beverage was brewed or fermented or whatever you gave them? You know, think about it. We're becoming the archaeologists of wine tasting history here.
Yes. Who could claim to have drank history, right?
Cursed history.
A history nonetheless.
That's right.
Just saying.
It's interesting,
I don't-
Topsy, seeing these mortals and their love of history, because for them it's so far removed.
For me, it was like
Rumors and
yesterday.
stories. Exactly. I'm a young one, so I'm not quite as historic as you are. Only 117. I guess 118 this
Like,
month or next month.
You're just a young little guy.
So Thomas, Geoffrey, I have to wonder. You know, we're going to Prigwort, and seems like the best place. I'm on board, totally supportive, but I also have to wonder the level of savviness that we'll see there, because these are people who know their brew, right? They know their wine. Do we have any concern that we'll get fleeced?
Swindled, yes.
Swindled?
Yes. It's always a concern wherever you go. We know what we have. I believe Geoffrey has figured out what his basement, his bargain basement price that he's willing to accept. But yes, is there anybody that knows anyone from Prigwort? Perhaps a contact there that we could get in touch with and could maybe lead us to more honest merchants, perhaps?
You
That's a
have
bright idea.
one. I don't know if any
Oh,
of you
no.
remember, but you met a
Someone that hates
Mossdorf a long time ago.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Yes.
right.
Did we
Yes.
eat pieces of him? Or somebody was eating
No,
pieces of him?
we did not. We like
Wait, you guys ate somebody? What?
It's been a long journey.
About that.
Mm, yes, that is
Not met
correct.
moss people before, so but we didn't. eat him.
where did they say that they were headed? To Prigwort? Brother, you would remember, yes?
I believe so. I think so. We could do. Do you remember their name? I mean, Mossdorf. There can't be too many of them. If we just ask around, shouldn't be too hard.
I
to find.
remember with green beards and maybe a mushroom or two. I do not. I remember the mushroom. Yes, there must. There.
Everybody. Oh, no, we didn't need him. I told you.
No.
Somebody ate him.
So what you're saying, Friars, they probably would stand out.
Oh
the
yes,
city.
yes.
I think too. If we get to Prigwort, if I could ask around if anybody else is part of House Ramius is there, and has been there for some time, I could certainly rely on information from them. If we are so lucky.
Yes.
It's a good thought.
You always got your father-in-law.
You know, it's
And it
everything
might
is
actually,
hairy sometimes, but he, helps.
and it might help. I mean, that's a connection that would lend authenticity to your claim of historical significance.
When are we going to deal with that?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm pretty sure only people who know are, the witness, the involuntary witness to that whole exchange, and your bride or whatever.
This seems like a good time just to fill those in that don't know. But how do we contextualize that? So Sir Geoffrey basically entered into a secret marriage that was sort of like a preemptive. Lord Ramius's daughter. So Lord Ramius is one of the goat lords, and Lord Ramius has long been trying to arrange a marriage between his daughter and a human noble named Baron Hogwarsh. This is something that Lord Ramius is. I'm blanking on what her name is. I would have to look back in my notes. It's going to be the story of all of these NPCs. You guys are talking about the Mossdwarf. I don't remember his name either. I'd have to look it up. But anyways, so she very much did not want this wedding to take place, and had seen the good that the characters had done in service to their people and such, had basically gone to Sir Geoffrey and asked that they have this secret marriage that she could reveal if she needed to at some point, that she would not be forced into this marriage, but not wanting to make it a public declaration unless it need be. Geoffrey agreed, and it's further strange, I think, because just not moments or not hours earlier, Sir Geoffrey had been knighted in the tradition of the Bregel as well, and had been gifted a tract of land, and I think there's like an old ruined tower on that property or something. We'd have to revisit that, but he'd already gotten like some of the perks of being in the family, so to speak, but now has this like secret that could taint the whole deal potentially. We don't know. I guess I don't know. We don't know what Lord Ramius's reaction would be. I suppose I would imagine he'd be quite angry, but I don't know.
I think the sweet thing though is that there's been a story of Joffrey falling in love in the past.
Yes.
And right, and
just running off into the woods, I believe.
Well, and
yes.
no doubt, like Joffrey truly believes that this is a love story between him and the princess, the Goat Lord princess.
I mean, and you saw sparks, right? Like, moment,
it was
right?
magical. It was we had a moment, you know.
There was
like Joffrey's already planning for little Briggle children and all that, you know.
Princess Snowfall at dusk. Grant was way back when we played Winter's Daughter. Granted you a wish for reuniting her with her love, and your wish was like for true love.
Yeah.
And so I think we're feeling like that's what happened.
That's what Joffrey believes has happened. Yeah. That's what Joffrey believes that also like this is like a fairy tale prince and princess story. Like this is his he's coming to her rescue, and he's gonna continue to rescue her for the rest of her life, I mean, unless Lord Ramius kills me first,
Okay. Yes. That is a big possibility.
Oh. Rescues you.
Yes.
Bam. And that's true love.
Luckily, there's a lake between you and him right now, so.
With a monster. So we're very safe.
Yeah.
Silver
I do wear his crest on my chest. And I do have huge tracts of land at home. And I'm not just talking about my wife. Ew.
Well, it sounds like the villagers are they are
ready to see us on our way.
Yes. Now, brother, you've looked. Maybe Thomas, you've looked at the map to see where we are headed.
Yes. We've got about 2 days. Is that east of here, right?
Yes.
South. East of here? Yeah.
Basically a road that kind of follows the curvature of the lake.
And now, to be clear, the monster is on the lake? And are we clear? Is it our monster? Is it our monster?
Is it our
I think
monster?
it might be.
I don't know if it is anymore.
Okay.
It wasn't pleased with us.
It's definitely a monster that we inadvertently allowed to be awoken. So.
Oh yes, But remember, it was for a good cause. Apparently, it was to protect the land. Giant monster versus giant monster sort of deal.
Oh,
The Nag Lord.
Yes.
I
So-
see.
What is this monster?
Wasn't there like some sort of Cthulhu
Oh, they sent a,
thing
remember when they
tied
sent a
to the
kid?
witch girl?
When you describe it
Paula.
as Cthulhu-esque, that doesn't
Paula.
help.
Her name is Paula.
Yeah, her.
Witch girl.
You sent her
I
out
couldn't
with.
remember her name.
You sent the Droon girl out with the witch into the middle of the water, and they vanished, and then the monster appeared.
Yes.
Topsy,
Not
we allowed
right.
her to make her own
Quiet.
decision.
Quiet. Not so loud, though, around here, please.
And you saying that just as a bald, kind of chubby human man in his 40s has just entered with dull brown eyes, kind of squinting behind spectacles. He's wearing his priestly vestments, and he looks over and he sees Friar Fitzpatrick, and he says, "A word."
Yes. I will. One moment. Yes. Hello. I'll move over.
Friar Stephen,
Hmm?
do you remember when we first met, when you came in here and lectured me about not taking care of the people? Do you remember this lecture? It was a good lecture. You gave me quite the tongue lashing.
Yes, I remember, and the people have come to you, and you've helped them. Yes.
They have come to me just as they always have, and it seems that some of them came to you. And so I have just come back to serve up your words to you before you head out. I see your wagon seems like it is at capacity. I just wanted to come and remind you of the people that you professed to care so much about 1 month ago when you came to our village. I trust that you will make things right with the families of the deceased, that we will
yeah.
see you again.
Oh, of course. I hoped. I went and dropped some coin outside some of the houses.
A couple of coins, huh?
What do you need? Do you need a new roof? Is it what?
I am speaking for the people.
Okay. Yes.
So
What do the people need, my friend?
what they need is their husbands,
Yes.
their fathers. Something to think about
understand.
before you wander these woods with your sanctimonious feeling and words. And with that, he just like turns around, like he's clearly, he's
He's
been
wanted
waiting
for
a little
while.
bit
He's been
to
wanting a while.
dish this out to you, but he's gonna get the last
In the
word
mirror
in
once or
today.
twice.
God bless you. I will be around to the shrine once more to pray. Yes.
Friar, how much do you think he practiced saying that to his dog?
I don't know, but I did give him a tongue lashing, and we deserve that. We really do. We not good for people.
I mean, look, bad things happened. I feel terrible, but look, there's no work in this town, and we tried to, stimulate the economy.
Yeah, they should be thanking us. Exactly, Geoffrey.
They're dead. There's no one to thank us. They're dead. It's what
We tried.
They were.
happened
Didn't do a good
before.
job as usual.
Were they not
Yeah.
warned? Were they not warned of the danger?
I mean, they signed the contracts, right? You gave them the contracts, right?
And we owned them. But we didn't know garlic was maybe in order,
Well, and to the friar's point, they really don't want their husbands and sons and brothers back. in any shape or form at this point. Hopefully, we've averted that as well.
I mean, but also
Good
what I've seen though is that when there is a traumatic experience, people do look for someone to blame, and it is us, and we have to shoulder that burden.
I
They're not
questioned
learning.
whether we needed to go back in and slay these undead beasts, but I feared that the decision to leave has been made for us.
Yes, if what those of you who were out there state, the hornet's nest that was kicked with the hornet that appears to be residing there, it's probably best that we move out.
We're
I
not
agree
ready
with you,
yet.
Thomas. I was wondering if there might be retaliation. We can't kill every single creature in the castle. We slay the vampire lord. Even if that's possible, what happens to the villagers?
I just hope
Nothing good.
Yeah. I hope he does not, or she does not, whatever, decide to take revenge on the townsfolk in our stead. But
It's interesting.
Either way, I would kind of look out the window a bit. Does it look like everything's pretty much prepared and ready?
Yeah, it looks like at this point, like the workers have dispersed, but Sir Osric and a few of the knights are still basically standing around your wagon.
Better not keep
So
them waiting.
we have this village here, and certainly this has been an ill-omened place for some time. Why do they stay?
Well, I
do
think
wonder.
it's only been an ill omen since the sea creature appeared, right? That was the deal, wasn't it?
Well,
I don't remember.
So just a little context, like a lot of people don't stay. A lot of people are transient here. The permanent people here are the knights who are stationed at the fort. And their role essentially is to make sure that commerce happens, that the boats come in and head north through the woods. There are some very small communities that live in the northern end of Dolmenwood, not along any major road. That's kind of their role, is to kind of monitor all of that.
well,
Now
we'll be
they're
joining the
coming to
transients.
keep the vampires away from the town too. Hey, what can you do? They definitely don't want us here helping. I can tell you that much.
yeah.
Well, then it's time to go.
Yeah, to
Let's
Prigwort.
just go.
I think it is.
So the six of you settle up here, make your way outside, and you can see that there are two knights who are accompanying a third, a human man who has he's maybe a little bit on the overweight side. He's got a kind of curly mustache, kind of a little bit of a reddish face, and you know him to be Sir Osric. And he sees all of you, kind of hails you, and he says, well, everything seems to be loaded up. It seems to be all accounted for. I made sure of it. You'll be on your way then to Prigwort. Shouldn't have any trouble. These roads are mostly safe. I wonder if you're going that way, would you maybe deliver a message for me? And he kind of reaches in and he pulls out an envelope that has a wax seal that seems to be of it is a seal of the Duke of Brackenwold's house. And he probably would hand it instinctually to Thomas. Sounds like you'd been the one that had been in town, probably had talked to him the most. And so he says, I need you to take this to a man named Mostelmeyer Druge. He lives in Prigwort. He's a pretty prominent member of the community there. I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding him.
Does he run an establishment, or what is his vocation?
He's a wizard.
Oh,
He
okay.
performs services and such and appraisals of. I'm sure you probably have work for him yourself, but
it would be no issue
thank you.
to take this to him.
Well,
We appreciate your hospitality as for our stay here. We do want to extend our sincerest apologies for what has occurred. It is most unfortunate.
yes, we it is a terrible thing, of course, but we will move on and we will heal and we will keep a vigilant eye as we always have. And he just casts a glance at the barrels. Maybe there's just like the slightest hint of judgment there, but he says, I wish you well in your endeavors in Prigwort, and hope the sacrifice was worthwhile. And with that, he just kind of nods to his men who start to walk off and leave you to it. They're the two brown, healthy pack or draft horses that you have hitched to the wagon. The wagon is pretty much full. It has a gate on the back that can close, and it's been covered with kind of tanned leather tarp. Keep the moisture off your barrels if you would hit any kind of weather or anything like that.
All right. Now, just for the question for the group, was it ever told what your guys' thoughts were to, as far as like that there might be a vampire out there or whatever? Was that ever told to the guards here and such over the last week?
I mean, I guess
Didn't talk to anyone.
we could maybe explain that there was. So I'm sure that we would have at one point. No, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we had to have had explained how they died. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good question though, because do you share? I mean, that's gonna be panic inducing, right? Also, might sound a little crazy.
So,
So-
just this is like one of those weird things because not everyone was a part of all of that, and so it's like a question. So my thought was, and you can change this, like if you guys wanted to change it, but there would have been time to take the bodies back. Like they were found out in the aftermath of something horrific and violent.
Mm-hmm.
And if that were the case, if the group did bring them back and they were given last rites, they were clearly attacked by a vampire, and we know enough about vampires that we know what needs to be done with these bodies to make sure that they don't turn and things like that. So I think that is one take we could take with it. But if we want to go a different way where it's like maybe they weren't brought back and maybe the town is not in the know, that's cool too.
I would think we would bring the bodies back, and this is my vote. We bring the bodies back, and we communicate discreetly to the leadership of the town, so they can determine what makes the most sense. Because I'm just nervous about like rumor mongering and like a mob getting whipped up and like going to the castle with torches and getting fucking wiped out, you know. So
At least a priest, maybe,
Mhm.
maybe brother, you could let the priest know before we leave town, and he could like give you another tongue lashing.
Sure. Yes, I could do that, and I'm sure that I'd probably end the night here. We'd probably let, if we hadn't already, we would have. I'd say that we
Yeah.
would tell the leadership. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could say all that happened in the past like week. And like the priest is certainly not going to share that information, and Sir Osric has a vested interest in not creating a panic. So, they'll just reinforce what they've always told people: don't go up to that castle, stay away. And when they see folk that they don't recognize, they say, "Oh shoot, here we go again! Some treasure hunters going up to the castle." So.
Okay, well that answers my question, because even the way Thomas is, leaving without having some sort of a warning. But if the warning was already given, I won't say anything more to the Captain Osric.
So, as you are all getting set up to head out of town along the old road, here we go. I believe with the wagon, you have basically 4 travel points per day. It costs 2 travel points to enter into a hex along this road, the old Fort Road. So, unless you are telling me otherwise, I'm assuming you're taking the road track to the east, and there's no chance of getting lost in those circumstances.
Yes.
That seems prudent.
And one thing I would ask of Silver and Topsy is, if once you feel the like the influence of the stones leave you, let me know when that happens. If that happens, and when that happens.
I'm certain we won't mistake it.
Okay.
Are you trying to map out exactly?
Yeah.
Nice.
You're so smart.
Anything special you want to tell me about your travel, particularly maybe who is driving the wagon? There's probably enough room for 2 people to be sitting up at the front. I saw Thomas is up at the front.
Yeah, I'll be fine driving the wagon.
I'll probably be in the back, keeping an eye, kind of doing sentry.
And probably singing, I mean, I'll, we're cruising along, use the rhythm of the, the sound of the wheels and stuff like that to kind of sing some traveling song with that cadence.
I wouldn't mind sitting up front
Okay.
along the way and keeping an eye out forward while Geoffrey's keeping an eye out backward.
Sounds good. So, the wagon takes to the dirt road, and you have Lake Longmere along the southern shore. It's in plain view, some distance away. It is a chill-laden, clear sky day, as you probably have a little bit of exhalation that you are seeing on your breath. and it is you're in the Dolmenwood. You hear the sounds of the birds and the wildlife and the natural sounds that you've grown accustomed to hearing. The trees are all mostly amber and golden hued at this point. A lot of leaves kind of stuck wet to the road as you're traveling. You go for about maybe 4 hours or so. It's early afternoon when suddenly some of those sounds, some of those sensations change just a little bit. And no longer are you hearing birds and squirrels chittering in the trees and things like that. Suddenly the cadence and the sound of the wood feels more like a buzz. And it sounds like more like the sounds that you might expect in some kind of a bog or something of that nature. Insects. Not within sight, but just like off to the north along the road.
Like a cicada sound, or
more like swarming insects, just like a low hum. So not like
it's kind of a droning.
More of a droning, yeah.
You said it was along the road?
It sounds like it's coming like from within the wood to the north.
Okay. So to the north of the road, not north. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
And as
I'll keep my eyes to the north.
Travel for maybe another like 10 minutes or so, and it gets like louder.
Still no sight of anything. Nothing in the air, nothing in the distance. No, like it's swamp sounds. No sign of a swamp.
Yeah, you're not really seeing anything that looks like a swamp. Like the terrain hasn't changed any different. The trees are the same. You don't see any large like bodies of water other than the lake to the south.
Can I listen? Like listen harder than I'm listening right now?
Sure. As you're listening, moving about a little bit, you feel like you can tell like where it's the loudest. And you're not sure like what distance away the source of the sound is, but like clearly like you can identify like where on the road you would be at the I don't know, epicenter of where the buzzing is happening in the woods, right?
So the road will bring us there eventually.
No, just like where you would cut off of the road if you wanted to follow the sound.
Ah, okay.
Which we don't, right? I mean, we don't, right? Like we want to.
No, brother. We want to stay on the path. Yes.
Like we want to just keep going.
So as
we want
players,
to keep an eye on where it's coming from, but we want to keep moving.
Right. As players, we definitely want to go see what's going on because it sounds interesting.
Absolutely.
Characters. Topsy might also, just as a
yeah. Hey guys, that bug noise is pretty annoying. I think we should do something about it. What do you guys say?
Yes, let's hurry through here so we no longer have to hear it.
Topsy,
and stay on the road so the horses and wagon don't get eaten or have to wait there for 10 years like last time.
Ah, that's true. Sorry about that. Yeah, Topsy, I know you're certainly very curious about all the movement that's happening and you just want to like go attack things, but
it's like movement in my ears. Ow, I don't like it.
Then let's hurry on. Why go in it? Right?
But think about it. What if it follows the cart, it sneaks into camp at night when we're all sleeping, and then eats the friar and runs away?
Oh, me?
Why
choose me?
I mean, brother,
you look like you got the. I mean, I'll be nice, but you look like you got a little more meat on the bones than some of us. But it's okay. It's totally fine. It's a healthy glow that you emanate from you,
Oh,
and
thank
maybe
you.
that's why you'd be the first to go.
The
I
growth
would always
factor.
choose the healthy game.
True. That said, Topsy, as much as I am also very curious about what it could possibly be, I think Geoffrey and the good Friar are right. We just need to keep going. So,
All right. So the group continues on along the road. And as you
I'm gonna
move,
keep my eye on it though, and especially in the air, because it sounds like bugs to me, right?
Mhm.
So I'm keeping
Yes.
an eye for like a swarm in the air coming from that direction.
pretty quick, you move 10, 15 minutes away from that point, and you'll cease to hear it, and everything just kind of returns back to the normalcy of the wood and normal birds and animals and critters. At no point do you ever feel any temperature change or anything like that. It was really just like the buzzing was this persistent, annoying sound right in that one spot, and then you decided to move on. It very quickly subsides, and pretty soon, up ahead, you're seeing a bridge, a slender covered bridge that crosses the river here. A little bit strange though. It's kind of like a trestled bridge, like I don't know if that's the right word, but it's supported by these cross beams of wood that cut right into the water, and so the water has to pour through underneath the bridge, and it looks like as it does so, there's like kind of this froth that is kicked up, but it's not like that white froth from water that you'd expect to see. It's kind of almost like black and looks almost like oily. This is like underneath the bridge at like the supports deep underneath it.
Does it look safe to cross? Does it look like it's affecting the structural integrity of the bridge, or it's just like weird?
It's just like a weird visual. The bridge itself looks sound.
Does it smell like different? Does the water smell like a bit tarry or oily or anything?
No, I wouldn't say there's like a natural odor in the air.
Okay.
Hmm.
Some interesting silt, maybe? I don't know. Rivers run to the two lakes, right? I'm not sure. Yes?
Yeah, it's flowing out to the left, right?
Yeah, you
Could be
can
both.
you could see that it flows to the lake from the lake.
Hmm.
What makes
Yes.
sense? What the natural one is the one that is happening.
Well,
Any
rivers
scientists
flow
out there?
into
I'm an
and
idiot.
out of lakes.
Yeah.
Maybe check the local topography of the area to determine the elevation at which we're at.
Hey, you joke about that. There's an elevation map in the map pack. They have every single map you can think of. They have in the map
Alright.
pack.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
Well, we must pull up the
Unfortunately.
map to find the answer.
I
Is it
could.
going to the lake or a different lake?
I think it's going to the lake, but let me see.
Flowing from right to left.
Yes.
Is the utmost important that we
Yeah, that's
find out
that's
this
what makes sense
specific
because there's
information.
hills up in that direction. But I only noticed this. It's funny you say that because like I never looked at the PDF for the map pack, and I was like, oh my god, I thought of everything. There's like 35 maps in here.
35. Ooh.
Awesome.
Oh, no.
And the lake to our left is the one that they awoke whatever monster or whatever, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I could dangle a rope as we're going over and see if we catch any of that froth and take a look at what's on the rope if you'd like. Are we that curious?
I am not.
I mean, I always am. So
Oh,
you know what I'm gonna
That
say.
is true.
What's the name of the lake?
Lake Longmere.
Oh, Longmire's monster. Miri. That has a ring to it.
It does.
I mean, I pick up weird mushrooms. I'm down to pick up some weird goo. Let's Lillibeth, let's get this goo. Let's do the goo.
Okay, so I've got 50 feet of rope. Will that work?
Sure.
Do you want to we should tie something like heavy to the bottom of it to rub in the goo and lift up and out, right?
They have a grappling
Yeah,
hook.
Well, we don't want to grapple the bridge on accident, do we?
I do
So
have
maybe
an
something that doesn't hook.
I
A
do
ring
have
to
an
blow up the
empty
bridge.
vial.
Can we tie a vial to the bottom of it and try to get a little goo in the vial?
I think
Why not?
that's plausible. You
All
probably have
right.
to like fray the ends of the rope a little bit to like get it fine enough to pull around the vial, but I think you could do that.
I mean, we could take somebody's mug instead and have to maybe mess up the
not
rope.
my mug.
Well, and even if you just dipped the rope in it when you pulled it up, I could take
That's what I was thinking.
stuff off of the rope.
Okay.
I'll put it next to my vial of Waymond.
Yes, just be careful. Remember, we be careful though with that because remember, I mean, we went to a cow corpse and there was I forget if it was a flea or it was bit by a rat or something. Either way, one of our another poor soul almost started bleeding and was dead that night. So just be careful with what you touch. Yes.
So the plan is Lillibeth is lowering down a bit of rope,
And keeping gloves on my hands after listening to that.
and then after you do that, you're bringing it up, and then you're going to try to like squeeze or just let drip whatever residue into the vial. Okay. So
Into the
I'm gonna-
bottom. Yes.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
hold a torch while that's going down.
okay,
So I'll do a turn of torch.
sounds
I think in
good.
true Joffrey fashion, I'm going to watch it happen, and I'm going to give a lot of not useful instruction while it's happening.
Oh, you're doing like dad mode. You're like, oh, pull, you like move your feet this way. Yeah.
Totally, 100%. Like with
Watch
the
out,
best
slippery there.
intentions to be helpful, but just totally useless.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. Slow it down.
All right, so Lillibeth, you drop the rope down, and easy enough. I don't know. It's probably like 12 feet down or something like that, and pull it up, and you can see, like, I don't know if you like just like a foot of your rope is just coated black. You know, it's like ink is what it looks like. Seems improbable that that's what it is, but that's what it looks like. And so you get some of it into your vial, plug it up, and
We've got an ink substitute at the very least, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what this is? We can ask when we get to
I mean,
Prigwort.
We are
It's
visiting a
like
wizard.
ink. Like it's got the same consistency as ink, and it's just wow, weird.
yeah, maybe a little bit thicker, but maybe it's more like paint. But yeah,
So you ever seen Pirates of the Dark Water? Remember that show we were like 20 years ago? That's what I'm imagining is happening right now. We got some dark water. I'm very tempted to toss the torch in, but I know that torches are precious, so I'm holding back.
And if it's left,
And we can see what happens to the end of the rope too for a little while. Just keep it outside of the wagon.
right? Because that
Yeah,
would be
that's fair.
organic material. Nay.
Yeah. Certainly away from the wine casks.
actually, that reminds me of something. I don't know. It feels like I should have Ryan do this, but roll me a d6.
Oh.
Okay, it's on the floor. Hang on. Where'd it go?
And with that, we lost Ryan for the rest of the game.
yeah.
No, that was a control fall.
I know you're just
wasn't it?
stalling. I know you're
Damn
stalling.
shag carpet. I can't find it.
Three.
It's 3. Okay, nothing happens.
Ooh,
So you got your vial. You continue on. You cross the bridge. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, travel for. You're getting pretty close to like kind of the end of the travel day. It's probably been maybe about 6 hours of travel, so you probably got another 2 hours. So you take a little break. You know, you're taking frequent breaks throughout the day. That's part of what makes travel take so long. And then you continue on and you encounter a second bridge. This one is different in design. It is a bridge of crumbling stone that spans yet another river that deposits its waters into Lake Longmere. It's held up by posts. Stone posts.
No black froth.
Seem to be no. You don't see any of the black frothing water, but it does look like there's carvings of things etched into the stonework of the bridge.
Can we make it out or no?
Sure. You draw closer. You can see that pretty much all the decorative motif of this bridge has the depiction of a man with kind of a really long, kind of crooked nose and messy hair and big, unruly beard. But in his beard and in his hair, he's full of like moss and like leaves and kind of high cheekbones, kind of very wizened face.
So Droon, obviously, right? That'd be our interpretation.
I don't know.
Interpretation.
It's not a
That'd be
drawing,
yours.
it's a carving
The
in the
carving.
stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like
But
moss. What about
Ted,
yours?
you know,
Moss dwarf?
all the depictions of this face, accompanied by, tree branches and berries and vines, things like that. Very naturalistic.
Hmm.
I was thinking moss dwarf, but it could be.
what's
Yeah,
that your
is it
answer?
dwarfy? Like big old beard?
Now, when you saw the one moss dwarf you've encountered, I think he's the only one. His
Mhm.
beard was composed of like fungus and spores and things like that. So I would say different.
Does this carvings look professionally done? Like actual proper like stonemason did this work, or
Yes,
is it more
but
graffiti?
no, it's there's a degree of what's the word I'm looking for? There's almost like a austere. It's definitely like something maybe in worship of this figure. And sorry, I had a thought, but I lost it. But all throughout, like the entire bridge is like the same motif, the same character. It is clearly like a character.
Hey, Friar, is this one of your fancy saints?
Ah,
Was there any one of your saints that was a big fan of nature?
oh, well.
To like this
Of
degree that
course,
he gets his
there
own
was.
bridge?
Yes. I'm not sure, though, that any come to mind that. Would it be a saint that's coming to mind? That I know you don't have them memorized, but it doesn't seem like this. Seems like it's more from the wood, right? From like
I think
Dolmenwood.
the motif
Yeah.
doesn't, there's no symbology of the one true
There's
God.
no. Yes. Yeah. I'm not seeing any. No, this is probably from the wood. Yes.
Very weathered. So this is very old stone.
Does it look fayish? Like the artwork would be like not on the fey side of things, or because we're in the Dolmenwood, or is it more like,
Hard to say. I don't think it's resonating necessarily with Silver or Topsy.
some guy we don't know about yet?
Well, maybe we're entering his domain or its domain. Never assume a beard is a woman.
Could be. Never know. My lady has got a very nice beard.
She does. I think.
There was I'm sorry, there was a saint though. His name was Saint Hamfast. He was yes, as we all know, he would give sermons to wild beasts. Yes. It was a beautiful thing, yes.
Like to squirrels and chipmunks, he just preached out this holy name or your holy God's name. That's what he did.
Yes. Yeah, in
She's
fact,
rich.
he had it was said that he had at least a trio of bears and maybe maybe 36 squirrels and mice and crows around that would study scripture with him. Yes.
Study scripture with him.
Yes. In fact, I mean, if I prayed hard enough, I feel that maybe he might let me do that as well. If
I don't know how I feel about shooting a beast that reads scripture. How would I even know?
It does remind me. Apu does look like how is he doing? I've always wanted to ask him what he thought of our circumstance. I maybe ask him to maybe pull his weight a bit more and go forward before us and stuff. This might actually help. I've been praying on it and thinking about it quite a bit. Yes.
Well, I happen to agree. He's been doing a lot of other unhelpful things, although it's hard to tell him so.
Well, how about this? I will pray on it tonight, and tomorrow maybe we might have a word with him.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't go out there to get himself killed.
Need to get a beer ready if I'm gonna have to make monkey sounds and.
It's like I'm letting you know.
God.
And I guess it's up at this point, but
Lillibeth, and
yes.
along those lines, and I pull out one of the hand axes. Have you trained him to wield a weapon?
Do you really want him to wield hand axes? Think about this, Silver. And it's not the way that companionship works. It's
I do notice you trained him very well to point to his mouth when he is hungry.
Little backpack flap. You see a little monkey face. Ooh. Huh? Oh.
that I didn't train him to do. He was doing that before he ever became
That's right.
bonded with me.
That's
I think
right.
Food is the bond. Are you hungry? Okay, how many food rations do we want to lose this time?
I can just make him a treat, I can do that thing.
Oh, yes, brother Zero.
That would be wonderful.
I make him a mince pie, conjure it up, and then there he goes.
His little paws reach out and grab it, and then isn't there like a scene in like Gremlins or something like that where they try to feed the gremlin a Snickers bar or something? It's like that. He just grabs it, withdraws into the backpack, and then you're not going to see him for the rest of the day because he's just munching. disgusting sounds coming from the backpack.
Well, if you guys have dessert ideas for tonight, let me know. I'll see what I can do.
That sounds fabulous. Should I go
Oh.
hunting? Do we have enough food? I'll think about it on the way. I'd add a
First-
day to the trip.
I think we're going across this bridge. We're not worried it's going to crumble in on us. I mean, we got a big old low in the back right there. It could be fine. This seems old,
It's got
though.
wards all over it, so I'm hopeful that it's sturdy.
Yes,
I mean, I'm hopeful.
it is here. It would be very. It seems like this road is traveled a bit. It would be a very poor fate of ours that today is when it chose to crumble. I feel we are okay.
Sounds good. So you begin to drive the wagon over the bridge. Probably at the point where you get halfway across the bridge, you'll notice that that same face is designed like in the actual cobblestones or whatever, like makes up like the actual bridge. And you're noticing that the face is kind of embedded in this image of it in the bark of like a tree. And he's got branches that reach up and extend across the bridge. Just the design work as you're moving over it on the floor as you're passing over it. Which brings you to the other
Very
side.
ornate, this bridge. So disconcerting. I don't know why.
And Topsy Silver, you still feel the effects of the stones?
Yes.
Has
Yes.
it lessened at all or increased even as you're getting closer to the perimeter?
I think the effects of the Ring of Chell are pretty consistent throughout, so I don't think you feel a change.
Got it.
What do
Sorry,
you think-
Thomas. No perceptible change. How about you, Topsy?
What do you think would happen if we went up and like hugged one of the stones? Would we just like disintegrate?
You should try it.
I
You have
know.
9 lives, right?
I've gone through a few, but it's all right.
I recommend against it.
The journey continues. Another hour or so passes, and up ahead you can see that there's a decrepit manor house with a turret on one end that stands on a hill overlooking Lake Longmere. There appears to be a small stables attached to it, and the overhang of the of the manor, right near its front porch, has like a sign giving you the feeling that this might be a roadhouse inn or a place to stay for the night. And it is about 5 p.m. currently. So you wouldn't get much more out of your day of travel unless you were going to attempt a forced march or something.
I say we approach and see if they have beds for the night.
This is most awesome, Thomas. It is wonderful that you planned it out this way. I was wondering where we would camp.
Yes, thank you, Friar.
It definitely makes sense that there would be an inn at this exact spot, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, so
And
you,
not an inn of vampires.
there's no well, we'll see.
If I knew.
I mean, this probably isn't going to help because as you go and I don't know who is the person that would go and take care of the horses and the wagon and everything, or is everybody going to go and kind of get that settled?
I'll take care of the horses in the wagon. Not
So Lillibeth is
a
off,
problem.
kind of dealing with that. Those of you that are approaching the front of the building, there's a porch. And then the sign. The sign depicts a blue-skinned, pointy-eared fairy who's recoiling as a door is slammed in his face. And probably Silver, you would recognize the character. It's a kind of comical, cartoonish depiction of one of the Fey Lords named Mallowheart.
Oh, that specific.
Prince Mallowheart, yeah.
I'm curious. So in this cartoon depiction, is it almost like with like a stereotypical elf hat and like, is it like a,
Yeah.
okay, so they've like, okay.
It's a not flattering, almost offensive. You're almost offended for the frost elves, as he's clearly a frost elf.
We only wear those hats at parties.
He is, I guess what you know of him is he's a half brother of the Cold Prince.
Mm-hmm.
He's known for being a little bit debaucherous. Some of the folk in Dolmenwood would claim that he sometimes sets up parties and things on the road and harasses mortals traveling and things like that.
Nice. Awesome.
Would I know, or would any of us know, if he was sort of captured in the same instance that the Cold Prince is in, or do we think that he's like separate and like free, I guess?
You probably don't know with any certainty, but you don't get the sense probably from the stories that are told that these two characters are very close.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's more of like a trivia fact that they're related kind of thing.
Got it. I
So
pull my
Silver.
hood a little further over my head because, again, my glamours are not as effective as they would be if I weren't drunk. But
And seeing that there seems to be a very anti-fairy establishment before us, but looks to be, I will hop behind one of the barrels and turn into a cat, and then perch on someone's shoulder or jacket or backpack.
Sounds good. The horses in the wagon are secured away. You will enter into the inn, it sounds like, and you find yourselves in a high-ceilinged hall lined with dented wooden panels. There's probably not too, there's probably one or two other patrons in the place, but not very well frequented. There is a man, seems to be the proprietor, who greets you, fresh-faced, probably early 20s, curly blonde hair, who introduces himself as Sedgwick. Asks if you're looking for rooms for the evening.
Indeed, we are.
And this place has a common room that you can all stay. What kind of... I'm just trying to look at lodgings are common quality. Yes. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we take just a 10-minute break while I'm trying to finagle through my PDFs to get some of this information. And thanks everyone for hanging out. It's cool to see so many people coming and hanging out with us again for Dolmenwood. That's awesome.
Yes.
We will be
Indeed.
back here in just a moment. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us here tonight. Our group just got starting to settle in to some lodging here. They found a inn with a very interesting sign, kind of depicting one of the fairy lords as sort of a buffoonish character getting slammed in the face with a door. And so they have found themselves at the Mallowheart's Repose Inn. And it's a little bit vacant here as you're making your acquaintance with Sedgwick Ulmer, the proprietor of the inn. And he's, kind of tabulating things up. Basically, it sounded like you wanted some lodging. They've got some rooms with 2 beds. So unfortunately, I think your scheme to save money probably doesn't actually save you much money unless somebody wants to sleep on a floor. So each of those rooms is 4 silver pieces each. they can stable and feed your horses for the night. That'll be another 4 silver. And then the matter of food comes up. And there is, if there's one thing about this place, maybe it's a little drab, maybe it's a little worn and everything like that, but there are some delicious smells coming out of that kitchen. And you're looking around, you're looking at what some of the other merchants and whatever are eating, and you see these dishes with this kind of big hunk of like roast meat that's just sitting in a succulent juices, and seems like there's like some desserts out on the table. You can see that these like they almost look like maybe like chips or something that have like powdered sugar on them, like crisp wafers or something like that. Some walnut tarts, like everything that you're seeing in the spread of what they have looks delicious.
I don't know, brother. I know what I said before, but
No, I agree
it's been a
with you.
while.
This is
It's been a
amazing.
while. Yeah, since I've seen something like this.
Alex, I'm immediately suspicious because this looks very delicious out here in this perfect spot that just happened to be right when we needed to stop. Can I just like concentrate on like the energy of the room and the food and just see if there's any kind of magical energy rolling out? Detect magic.
Detect magic.
Yeah.
Is this a thing that takes you 10 minutes, or is it like just like an instantaneous thing?
So it was a debate. I used to have, and I think it's been added to my character sheet as a thing that elves can do. It's their special skill.
Okay. So
I think it's a D6. I think that's a 5 or 6 to detect, but let me double check. Because it's in the elf.
Yeah, I instantly get confused because I just added some stuff in my other OSE game that has detect magic as like you could do this for free if you spend 10 minutes doing it.
Got it.
Okay, so
the
you're,
way it works,
you're
right.
level 3.
does
You just
take
roll a
turn.
D6.
It takes a turn. I have to touch the object, place, or creature to be analyzed. It must be able to concentrate without distraction.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just like maybe like touch like some of the food. And just like maybe like, like surreptitiously grab like a roll or something, like I'm just curious if there's any magical things happening here. And
Wait, hold on, like you could go up to someone's table and like grab their food.
Well, maybe like, I guess I should say, are we gonna eat any food? Are we gonna order anything?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
You're ordering. Okay, I got it. I gotcha.
Yeah.
So you'll quickly realize that the accommodations are a little pricey on the food side. It's 2 gold for that meat, which they are calling roast unicorn rump.
Oh my.
Oh no.
What's wrong? Sounds amazing.
What, you've never had unicorn before?
It's like a common dish here in the Feywild.
Yeah, I'll put down. I've got 176 gold. I'll put down the 2 gold for my meat.
Sounds good.
Same here.
Why not?
Okay. Sure.
So you,
It won't really be unicorn.
Oh no, I don't.
Friar.
I don't think so. I mean, I just think my eyes. I mean, we just go back to when we were fighting that what we thought was a unicorn. But either way, yes.
Corrupted.
That's right. Yeah.
Better to eat it than to fight it. Yes, is that what we think?
Always.
I hope it's pork or something else.
Indeed.
So for the accounting here, everybody is taking care of their own meal, it sounds like.
Mhm.
And
Sure,
then
I have. Yes.
and then that would leave 16 silver pieces for the lodging and the stabling.
Do we have a group kitty anymore? And can I contribute to it? I don't mind paying for the rooms.
Meow meow. I got a lot of gold. I'll pay for stuff.
Yeah, I think the
so-
Meow Meow had our money.
So Meow Meow is gonna put forward. It was 16 gold in total for just launching stuff, or 16
16 silver.
silver.
Yes.
If someone wants to spot me one silver piece, I can cover that part of
I
it.
got
I'll
it.
spot you.
Bam.
I got you.
Beat me to it.
Katie Cat will emerge, drop off the coins, and then everyone's getting food. That's
We-
correct.
We literally have a kitty, right?
Yeah, how funny is that?
And I will put for. Are we all paying for our food individually, or do you want me to take it off the cat fund?
Take it out the cat
Mhm.
fund and everybody eat the best tonight.
Yep.
Taking out the cat fund, so that'd be grand total of 12 gold. I have to do math now. Excellent. Boop boop boop. Cat fund has been updated.
Excellent. So in short time, those dishes come out from the kitchen and make it their way to your table. And then Silver is going to stick his thumb in one of them.
That's right. And I'm
For
gonna
10 minutes.
concentrate.
And 10 minutes later, it does not detect his magic.
Beautiful. The detect is unicorn.
You're all pretty sure as you're digging in, it is a tender venison-like meat. It seems very unlikely that there are enough unicorns out there that they are slaying to bring in this meal.
So
Yeah, but maybe. I mean, who knows?
Never had unicorn. It would have been nice.
Yeah. So
Does anybody have any pipe weed? Can we smoke up in this?
You know, I think I did at one. I was gonna ask before we leave town to get pipe weed, but it's okay. Not
Yeah, I
right
think I've used all mine. I've got a pipe, but
Let me look. Hang on.
don't have any. I usually try and pick up at least some spare for you guys.
I do have some of those. I do have a handful of those crystals that we could smoke.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I have
Oh.
2 uses of the barley blend remaining.
you don't have the right
There we
pipe for
go.
that.
Yeah. Mm.
the crystal, the Frigid crystal pipe.
That's all I have is 2. I'll wait till
He's
I
not
get more.
bad.
It doesn't seem fair to smoke in front of everyone.
Well, it won't bother me, but Friar.
What? Oh, yes, that's smoke. Yes,
Smoke?
in
You
fact,
want us to?
Of course, I'd love to smoke. Yes.
All right. I'm going to take off the 2 uses. Let's have a smoke.
Let's have a smoke. And is there a question that is before you? Now let's just let's revisit this to see, because I always get castigated by the comments for giving you way too much leeway with the questions. So let's see how they've rewritten maybe this part. So quiet contemplation. The many pipe leaves listed in this section are assumed to simply... Okay, blah, blah, blah. Quiet contemplation. When vexed by a problem, a character may sit down, get out their pipe, and spend an hour smoking in quiet contemplation or in debate with companions. If the hour passes undisturbed, the player may make an intelligence check. If several characters are smoking and debating together, the most intelligent character makes this check with a +1 bonus per 2 companions, maximum of +2. The check succeeds. The referee gives the player a clue about the problem being contemplated. I think the problem was that people always say that I give you too much lore up front without exploring is what it is. So, okay. So what is the question that the 2 of you are debating this evening?
What do you think, brother?
I'm not the tastiest here. It's not me. Just kidding. We're not thinking about who.
No, okay, no. I think we do. We are contemplating and debating whether my brother's cooking is better or the cooking we've eaten tonight is better. And we're being honest about it. Like we're having we're really trying to get at the bone of the issue because it's like a taste test,
Yes. Sure.
That sounds
Yes.
fun.
Well, I believe. Well, I don't know. It's just something they do with. I don't know if it's.
Your biscuits are fluffier, right? But it's like theirs had that like sage flavor,
Ah,
So it's
yes, some type of an herby
Cheddar?
substance. Yes.
What is the Grimalkin thing?
I
Oh,
don't,
he's not
let's not
smoking.
ask.
Never mind.
He's can't talk. There's a kitty cat right now. Can you believe he said I would taste the best? I'm a bit pickled, aren't I, brother?
The elf probably tastes the best. I
Oh,
they
yeah.
taste like chicken. Hey.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Yes, fine. I mean, the meat is always tender, right? There's no age.
Are we
Woo!
sure it's not cannibals? I whispered to Silver.
That's some good weed. Ooh.
I feel
yeah, it's good.
not qualified to answer your question.
I'm trying to figure out a way to cook better to make everything taste a little bit more tasty. We're trying to gain something for the road, some type of technique that will help my character to have a little bit more flavor to his
Okay.
cooking.
Okay. And you're making the check?
Yeah. What's your intelligence, brother?
Oh, yeah. I am a 10, of course.
I'm a
No,
14.
I'm not. I'm not a 10.
Oh, while you
No.
guys are doing that, I see we are getting a raid from Technomancer VT. Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate that.
I have a +1 to my intelligence.
You're so smart.
Really? I'm smarter than you, brother? That's funny.
I am the wise one after all.
I did not assume. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm going to roll it. What am I rolling? A D20?
D20.
+1.
You want to roll under your intelligence
Okay. I want to roll under my intelligence.
and then deduct. Yeah, you get a bonus of
I rolled a 5, so
minus
I did.
1. Okay, awesome. So how to improve your cooking? Well, the best thing would be to find rare ingredients. Where can you find rare ingredients? Perhaps off the road.
Oh.
In the forest, in the woods, where the good stuff is. And I would say, this is where my trusty map will come in handy.
Oh!
Yeah,
Wow,
there's a
map
fungus
for it.
map. There's a fungus map.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
I need to get myself one of those.
I'll get to that, right?
Yeah.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
So where you're at?
Is there really a fungus map?
Wild fungi and herbs, noting the locations of special fungi and herbs that can be found in the wild.
I need that.
What an incredible
I don't
game.
think you're cooking
I
better.
need it. I've been taking notes, but
Definitely, definitely you have maybe seen, let's say you're reflecting back to way back when you were in High Hinkle. There were some eggs in the market called shub eggs that were going for it sounds like I'm doing a political thing. I'm not, like the price of eggs or whatever, but these eggs were really expensive. I just realized, like, oh shit, okay. No, it's not that. So there's just eggs that are really expensive in Dolmenwood. And the reason is because
Not chicken eggs.
they're not chicken eggs, they're shubs eggs. They come from the northern reaches of Dolmenwood. So there you go. That's a thing. That's useful information.
Shub eggs,
Shub eggs.
brother. That's what I remember. That is what I need. We need to go off the path, but I do not want to go off the path. I do not
What?
know. I need to remember to forge tomorrow. That's what I need to remember.
Not,
Mm.
I mean, I feel like that we glean more useful information than we have even other times smoking the weed. So
Yes. I wonder if the.
chub eggs.
I wonder if. I'm sorry. I was gonna call you Moreen. No, you're not Moreen. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Lillibeth.
Lillibeth.
Yeah,
Lillibeth.
Lillibeth. You saw to the horses, yes?
I did, yes. They should be well fed and taken care of. The stable looked lovely. Actually, looked like it would be a great place to sleep, frankly.
Oh, good. Do we have to purchase supplies? I mean, we might see if this would be a horrible place to find rations. It seems it'd be a bit expensive, but hopefully they don't have unicorn, I don't know, feed or whatnot. Hopefully it's regular feed.
You mean like supplies for the horses to tide us over in case we're like our supplies for us, like iron? Well, I mean, I think we have a lot of rations. I have rations. What about you?
Do
I have a bit, but either way, I was just thinking of the horses just in case.
We'll say if you ask them about
don't.
feed, they'll sell you a day's worth of feed for 10 copper for one horse.
Ah.
I
So
know
20 coppers.
Or one
You don't
silver.
have rations?
I've got 2. Yeah. I don't know if we used them or gave them put them in the kitty. I don't know.
I kept buying a lot of them because, Apu.
The kitty,
Oh, he's the
6
one who was
iron
my
rations.
I
I've
have
got 1.
I have 12 iron rations.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6. Okay.
Hang on, I think I have like 12 or something like that too.
Well, either way, though it is a bit somber, I feel that we owe ourselves the clarity of the pipe is speaking to me. I feel like we owe ourselves maybe a drink. Yes, everyone.
I say we owe ourselves 3.
10.
One.
20.
Now, you know what happens to me if I drink more than. But one.
Do 1.
All right.
Meow.
It seems like mead is the specialty here, or the thing that they are serving, at
Ooh.
12 silver a mug.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Is it shub mead?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Let's get wasted.
Dude, I feel like after everything's been going on, totally.
I think we deserve it,
All right, let's
Probably
go.
what I really need. Yes.
Finally
Let's
out
get
of town.
wasted.
Let's let loose. There ain't nobody here. There's like 2 people in the bar. We can act a fool. Ain't nobody gonna stop us. They're gonna love the money we give them, and let's get wasted. Let's get shitty.
All right.
I want to see if there's any
what-
more pipe
what-
weed about.
Yeah, let's get some more weed.
Yeah.
They don't have pipeweed for sale just here, but they do have mead. So for 12 silver, you can buy yourself a mug of mead. For everyone who is doing that and consuming it, go ahead and make a con check for yourself. If you fail, you become tipsy.
That's
Okay,
under.
Under.
That's my cousin. My cousin.
Your cousin is tipsy.
I'm fine.
I have a really high con, so it's gonna
Why
take
can't I get tipsy?
Well, he's not here right now.
Slow.
They're watering
Lillibeth.
it down.
I'm under.
I'm drinking too slow?
That's correct.
Okay. Then I will drink some mead fast.
Let's do it.
A little
Okay.
disadvantage. A -3 or whatever. Or +3.
Oh, this is beautiful. Oh.
So there was 16
I'm
silver. Al?
still-
12 silver.
So as the kitty accountant, the kitty bank, if you will, how much is everyone drinking so I can subtract it from your gold?
Well, I
I'll
guess
take
it depends on every time we do a constitution.
Yeah. You're gonna have to take off 12 silver every time we do a Constitution check.
I'm doing 2. Sorry, everyone. Every time.
Just so you
Four.
know,
Oh,
the levels of inebriation, if you're trying to get to a certain level of drunk, first you're tipsy, then you become drunk, then you become groggy, and then you become unconscious.
I want to be.
Those are the 4 levels of drunk you
I
can be.
haven't even gotten tipsy yet, so I want to try one more. That would be 3
Oh,
for
no.
me.
Well, the issue was that we ate before we should have just drank. That's the issue.
Had all that unicorn.
Yes. Yes,
Oh, boy.
I'm beginning to feel it now.
I
Oh,
do
finally.
want another one, yes. We'll take
if I
another
got
one.
Second
still
check.
not
You can't tell because I come across drunk.
Ooh.
I'm
Okay,
feeling a
on
bit
my
tipsy.
third, I'm tipsy now.
I'm tipsy too.
I've had 2, and I rolled under both times.
Third,
Go for 3.
Do I
Come on,
have a
Thomas.
third? All right.
third, and I'm tipsy.
Fun.
Yep,
Got
I
a
rolled the
party of
same thing.
alcoholics here. They can't
Yeah.
reach their level of buzz
Yeah.
they're looking for.
Ah,
Get on. It just took
No.
forever for me to get tipsy.
you're in
Four, I'm
love,
drunk
brother.
now.
You're in love. You're in
3.
love. It's beautiful.
Oh, yes.
I passed again, but I'm just gonna pretend like I'm drunk at this point.
Yeah,
I just imagine
everyone
everyone's
thinks you're
gonna-
hammered. I mean,
That's right. I love you very much.
I just imagine
No.
every moment
Let's go to
you guys
sleep.
get another drink. Just no, I'm saying tipsy. Topsy just waiting like on the bed, just like, oh, you got another one? Okay, party fun time here. I'll go over the table. Thomas, you said you had 2.
I had 3.
Okay.
I have
Lillibeth.
3.
Okay. Friar.
We're at 4. I'm at tipsy still.
All right. Geoffrey got. That's.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Do the
Brother.
math.
Oh,
There was a moment. I
you
swear it.
spent 20 gold on drink.
I believe there was a moment. Thomas, you know it.
I'll give you
There
some.
was a
I'll
moment.
give you some.
There was a moment where
No.
I thought that Lillibeth and my brother were a thing. Remember? I remember. I swear that you two had something going on.
Oh, no. Sorry, Geoffrey, but no.
It's
Geoffrey.
okay. I like goat.
There you go. He was always running off and getting lost. How can I be in love with somebody who gets lost all the time?
I do get lost quite a bit. It's true.
All the
Yeah.
time.
You know it.
Okay.
You know it's a hard no.
Direction.
You know it's a hard no when she makes the icky face when she says no. You know?
True.
Yeah. The icky face.
Yeah.
So all of this drinking and camaraderie, is there any goal or outcome that we're hoping for it, or is it just for the sake of having need to blow off some steam after what has been a pretty rough go?
I feel like it
Yeah.
kind of happened naturally. Like we're just doing it, and then like we just get a couple drinks, and all of a sudden we're just like out, just like drinking and just not blowing all our money. I think it's blowing off steam.
What's the point of coin if you don't spend it?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Could buy a moon dagger, or we could drink 20 pints of mead.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think, considering the fact that you're still a day away from the actual drinking town, this is probably just the precursor to what might be a number of days, weeks, maybe the whole winter you'll just spend there because you've got so much money. You're just going to wait out, let this all blow over, and just enjoy your time there in
But
Prigwort.
aren't we going to like build up Joffrey's decrepit, sorry, Joffrey, decrepit tower in wherever it is. So we gotta bring some of that back. We can't
Yeah.
drink it all.
Perhaps the
Is that what
evening
we're
is
doing?
talking about renovations and plans for the future of how to best use the space and build up all sorts of infrastructure. Who knows? But one way or another, you all somehow make it to your rooms and pass out for the night, waking up.
Madam Shellywood's not invited once we do the renovations.
No, she can never come through the door. Never, ever, ever.
We find ourselves on the 8th of Braghold. The weather is cloudy and misty outside. And you have some complimentary food, just like some muffins and some fruit and such that you're able to take with you out the door as you saddle up and get the wagon ready for another day on the road. Anything you need to do or accomplish before you're setting out?
Well, we can probably at least ask where we could get some more weed. If they have
pipeweed?
any that they have for sale.
Prigwort. I mean, once you get to Prigwort, you'll be able to buy
Okay.
all sorts of varieties.
I think even though we're pretty sure I'd ask just to say it's a day's travel to Prigwort, pretty much.
I tell you, maybe if you push it, but it's a little bit further than that.
Oh.
Could we ask if there was another inn or such along the way?
They would say no. They would say this stretch is a little bit further than it was from Fort Vulgar. Again, they'll say like you can push it and probably make it in a day, but you know, they also assess the fact that you've got a wagon.
Mm-hmm.
So the proprietor tells you to probably anticipate a night on the road.
Okay.
All right. So you bring the wagon out onto the road once again. I'm kind of making assumptions, but I'm assuming our plan is the same. You're still heading out on the road, following it east.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, brother. We could go off the road and get some chub eggs.
Over before we leave, though, you know, just kind of in conversation with Sedgwick, I'm going to ask him about the stone bridge. See if he knows who the. Well, I'll ask him. Do you know who that figure is that is on that stone bridge, or who it is that built that bridge?
Now, you've only known Sedgwick for less than 12 hours. He doesn't strike you as the brightest man in the world. He often ends his sentences midstream and then just kind of walks away, lost in thought. But you bring it up and he says, yeah, that bridge, geez, there's a name for it. It's a color. The brown man? No.
Green man?
That's it. I've heard it called that before. I don't know what that means. It's just a green guy that wanders around. He said I've heard people say he's like a tree man, like a green tree guy. I don't know. Maybe he's a fairy.
I believe I have heard of him as well.
I always hear people like telling stories about the Green Man as this guy. I don't know. He's a guy that's like out in the woods and he hangs out with woodland creatures and they drink and have merry. I don't know. I don't. He kind of like looks over at like there's a portrait of Mallowheart, taking a big digger into like a big puddle of mud, and he's just looks like an idiot that's fallen face first into the muck, and he says, I don't really get into this fairy stuff, you know? Like I don't understand it.
Neither do I.
So I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, I can't tell you much more than that. Green Man though, that's it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I found it rather interesting, the artistry out there. So I think you've. I'll perhaps do some research in Prigwort on it, but you've definitely given me, pointed me in the right direction. So I appreciate it, and I'll give him silver coin as a thank you.
Awesome.
Now we've heard that before, right, guys? The Green Man. Wasn't the Green Man something? Was it the Green Man?
I feel like I've heard the name, yes.
Wasn't there something with some stones out by some town
Yes.
where the Green Man would come and take kids or something like that? Or am I thinking incorrectly on that?
I think it took kids. I'd remember that. I think.
Yeah, there was like makeshift dolmen stones outside of, I can't think of the town's name, but there was something with Green Man. Am I thinking incorrectly or?
No, I'm just laughing because it seems like we've all lost all sense of place and time, and we haven't even really been gone that long.
Yeah.
So strange. That's all.
Yeah. I'll have
But
to.
I remember the Green Man. I just don't remember where.
I'm intentionally not answering some of these questions going forward because sometimes the interesting thing is the construction of the information that's been given, how it changes over time and turns into different stories. So I hope you don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just intentionally choosing not to insert too much.
I'll have to look back over my my writings.
The night,
when we get to Prigwort,
or rather the morning, is eerie, even though it's daylight out. Your breath, again, you can see it, but it is chillier today than it was yesterday. We're probably looking at like high 30s, low 40s. Like it is getting to that point where like you feel like within a day it could turn to freezing. But nonetheless, as you hit the road, kind of meanders southeast a bit. And basically it changes course from going directly east because it's circumventing a large hill that you see. Sort of an unusual hill in that it's the very top is like flat. Like it's a natural curvature and then it just becomes flat at the top. You can't see the top of the hill.
I feel like we ran into some dolmen stones in a similar situation. Does that sound familiar to y'all? Like, I feel like there was some Droon.
This is all coming up right as Thomas is talking about some stones at the top of a hill that outside some town. Wasn't there a hill with some dolmen stones?
Yeah, feels familiar. I don't know I can't remember if I was there. Silver was there, but I remember this as a player.
Silver would have seen them because it was Langshorn.
Okay.
Langshorn.
So as you joined the group coming back from the fairy mound, you would have seen it. You probably didn't explore them when the group initially explored them, but you would have seen the same thing.
That's what it is. Okay. Well, Thomas, should we investigate? I know you are interested in like charting these things. We should look at it.
That's where I'm leaning.
Could be some chub eggs, brother.
Well, I mean, if we all go together, We could see the path, I think. It won't be too bad, right? Oh, maybe we could Oh, would you like someone to go ahead and check things out, Thomas?
Oh, maybe Apu.
Oh, yes. Apu. I didn't forget about you, Apu.
Reliable. Patriot.
He
Come on out
stretches,
there. Hello.
kind of tumbles out of the bag.
And I am going to cast Speak with Animals.
Oh.
Six
Very
turns.
nice.
6 turns.
6 turns? Wow. Okay.
Oh, Apu. Hello, Apu.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm hungry.
Yes, you are.
Can you
come out
tell
to the
that
back.
kitty cat to get me some more pie?
Oh, yes. Please, Topsy, please, Apple would like a little bit more pie. Because Apple is going to go on a journey, aren't you, Apple, for us?
Ooh. What?
You're going to go to the top of that hill, and you're going to tell us what you see.
And then I get the pie.
Yes, you do, Apple. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just,
Do you enjoy being with us, Apple?
I like it very much, sir.
Oh, he's like Apu twist.
I'm imagining
To the
Apu's
top
doing
of
an accent, though.
the top of the hill and then back, and then I get my pie. Okay.
But
What? Oh, yes.
what are you telling him? What are you telling
He just
him?
starts
Going
scamper
to
away.
the top of the hill. He's going to see what he sees. He's going to tell us. He
Did you
wants
tell
to
him?
do it.
Did you tell him to tell you what he saw at the top of the tree?
Yes, I said you
hill?
tell us what he sees. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One turn
has it.
passes.
He has an accent. It's quite interesting.
He comes back.
Yes.
Okay, sir. I went to the top of the hill. Can I have my pie?
What did you see?
I saw the top of the hill.
What's there at the top, Apu? Detail.
Oh,
Do you need to go back up again?
no, there's not a whole lot up there, but there's a strange looking white thing.
A strange looking white thing, Apu
Mhm.
says.
Quite tall.
Like a
I'll
stone
call her up.
Stone.
rock. A rock.
Yeah, it's like a stone.
Hmm.
White.
A white stone.
Right?
Any creatures up there, Apu?
No, no creatures. Maybe some birds.
Okay. I'm relaying this to everyone. Lillibeth, as we have do you need anything that you would like me to say to Apu? Besides that, it is time that he starts doing more work for us.
What?
Oh no, please don't tell him that, because I mean, this is a mutual bond. It's not, you work for me kind of a relationship.
Well, he really likes pie, and it's just
And he really likes pie, and it seems to motivate him. So we can say that we'd very much appreciate him going up to the top of the hill, and there might be pie if he does it.
Yes. Apu, would you
Ask
like?
him-
Yes, go ahead.
Ask him if the stone that he talked about, does it have pictures or writings on it? Or is it smooth?
Was the white thing smooth? The stone, Apu.
It had kind of it looked like squiggles. Yeah, all sorts of squiggles.
Yes, squiggles. Apu. Do you have a faith, Apu?
I believe in the pie. I believe I heard the word might happen. Might happen. I believe it will happen.
Yes, the pie will happen, Apu. Yes, I've heard stories. You see, of animals converting to religion.
Yes, I have faith in the fur one, the furred one over there.
The third one.
Oh.
I like that. You should keep talking.
He's bowing to you. Oh, that is lovely.
Let us pray, Father.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Have you learned?
The one true God and whatnot, I'm sure, loves this. Wow. All creatures. I'm not telling you that you have to, but if you feel an emptiness.
This is the one true God right here, he's saying.
He's praying to
Yes, he works through
Fluffy.
through him. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Topsy, it's just, there's a monkey that is like bowing before you and kissing towards you.
Yes, he thinks you are you work. The one true God works through you, Topsy, is what I'm telling him.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because if my memory serves me correctly, doesn't your god like hate fairies and stuff? Like that's not pretty chill stuff. What you're doing, you're doing someone could say it could be sacrilegious in a certain sense.
I would say that the church hates you, but I believe the one true God does not.
Aren't you a servant? Never mind. So
I am the servant of God, of the God. Yes, the one true God, not of the church. No.
with the servants of your great and powerful godliness, ask Apu what kind of pie he likes.
Apu, what pie do you like?
All pie. I like apricot pie. Is that a thing I could have?
Apricot pie.
And a banana pie.
Yeah. Yes, the kitty cat is telling me that if you're ever hungry, he wants you to either knock on his forehead or pull on his tail, and he will give you food.
Oh, the monkey just goes over your tail and starts like yanking.
Oh my God! Sorry. You. Father.
So
I love Apu.
out of character, I can make treats, but I also have this vial of poison I could always slip into it if I really felt like it.
Oh, but the Apu didn't ask for this. You're gonna poison anybody.
I'm just laughing.
Sorry.
You can see me laughing.
Is it special sauce, sir?
Oh.
I
Okay.
will use
What did
a
he say?
glamour and conjure a apricot tart. Closest thing I can get to a pie right now. So I don't think I've had apricot pie.
It's gonna devour it in its entirety within a matter of minutes and say, "All right, sir, I'm quite tired now. I've put in a full day's work. I think I'm gonna go have a nap now. Goodbye." He's gonna go and climb into the knapsack.
If you ever need to speak with me again, you can knock on my forehead too.
Okay. Good night.
Don't do it unless you need to. Good night.
Okay. So apparently there's a big white stone on the top of this hill.
Yes, that's what.
Squiggles.
With writings on it.
Yes, that's what Apu said.
Or squiggles, yes. I'm feeling compelled to go up there.
Oh, compelled? I mean, how far are we from Prigwort right now? Maybe.
What time of day is it, Alex? How long have we been traveling?
I mean, I don't know. You talked to the monkey for like 20 minutes, him going up there and everything. It's probably like 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, it's really pretty far from Prigwort then.
Like the tavern is like not that far away. Like you didn't travel very far yet.
Here's what I think. It's going to take us a little extra anyways just to get to Prigwort. We're going to have to camp in the woods no matter what. So what's the harm in just taking a little detour, going up, looking at a rock,
Yes,
and coming back and continue? We're going to have to camp anyways.
Yes, that is a good point.
I
I
will say that Topsy having interest in doing it makes me more suspicious, but I am inclined to agree.
I mean, it's not for me. I can see Thomas over there just itching at the beat to go do it. He's like,
I am.
I can see him like scrolling
He
through
said
his notebook over
compelled.
there.
He said compelled.
Hmm.
And Silver, you've got
Well,
your
not-
story.
I am not magically compelled. I'm just.
That's what they all say.
Either way, before we go up there, we will remember kind of the rules of dolmen stones and whatnot. We won't get too close and all that, right? Yes?
Yes.
Mhm.
Very good. Yes, let's go.
Ryan, I think the chat is feeling some sympathy for you right now.
You've been sneezing.
Yeah.
For my sneezing
Yes.
attack, yeah, I'm like crying.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
Cool. So here are my questions. Some people are going up the hill. Are some people staying back with the cart?
I was just thinking that. I think that it makes a lot of sense for at least me to stay back because the Dolmen stones are a bit troublesome for the ferry. So I'll stay back with the cart. But I'll keep an ear out.
I'll be halfway between the cart and the party, the rest of the party that's going up.
I feel like Joffrey's dumb enough to go up.
So I got Geoffrey,
I'm
Thomas,
going up.
Lillibeth, and Topsy also.
I'd say probably fairly fair, knowing that Dolmen stones don't work good with the Fae. I will stay with my Fae companion.
Okay.
at
Sounds
the
good.
cart.
So Thomas, Lillibeth, and Geoffrey are the three that are going all the way up the hill. So when you get up there, it's a relatively steep hill, but it doesn't give you too much trouble. Maybe you're feeling the strain a bit in your calves or whatnot, but once you get up to the flat top, you can see that what it looks like what your monkey companion was describing is situated kind of squarely in the center of this plateau, and it is a chalky looking pillar that has all sorts of uncoordinated writing all over it.
Uncoordinated writing.
Doesn't look like a dolmen stone to me.
Mm-mm.
Is it like graffiti?
You start to approach so that you can go and maybe take a better look at it and get more detail. And as you maybe approach kind of within 20 feet of it or so, there's this brisk wind that seems like just out of nowhere just sweeps across the hill. Almost has like kind of a whistle, like a very kind of harrowing sound. And you just feel the chill.
So there are
Whoa.
no other stones. There's just
this
this-
one.
okay. And how tall is it?
It is a 20-foot tall column.
Okay, and column circular. I take it, right?
Circular, yeah.
And this does not ring a bell for anything that I would have read about or anything.
I don't believe so.
Hmm.
Is it Corinthian or Ionic? I don't like this win. Joffrey immediately kind of, I think, puts a hand on both his companions and is like, let's head back.
I agree.
You don't want to know what it is?
I want to know what it is, but something bodes weird with this. This bodes ill with this strange wind. This strange. It seems like a warning from stepping too close.
I came
And it
to
doesn't
protect
seem like this is a
you.
dolmen stone. This seems like some other sort of magic.
I think Thomas I can feel it. Thomas is curious. He's looking. You can tell that the writings that are on the stone are certainly not all from the same individual. Some of them there are things written on it, some larger, different handwriting. You probably can't see yet like meaning or letters, but you can tell it's not. Some of it is at an angle, some of it is straight, some of it's,
Okay, so it's not that anybody has etched anything into it. It's literally that people have graffitied it and painted on it, or
it looks etched.
it looks etched.
It looks etched into the stone.
I mean, scratchy, people carve stuff into the bathroom wall.
That's true.
Can you make out any of the writing from here? And do you know any of the languages? I know you're pretty good at that.
Yeah, you said what? We're 20 feet away. It's
You probably have to get a little closer.
I've got a.
All right, let's go closer, but let's all be careful. And if any more cold wind kicks up, I mean that just seems like undeadish to me, right? Cold wind, take a step, cold wind, take a step, cold wind, says undead. So if we take another step and there's a cold wind, I say we move on. We head back.
Can't we just go down and ask Silver if it's maybe, we've already seen one of the Cold Prince relatives on a sign. For all we know, this is just another invitation into that kingdom.
And Alex, we're not up there to see this, but just as a point of conversation, Topsy and I still feel the ring of Chell, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You straight chillin'.
Yeah, so at the very least, Thomas, you would have known. We would not have told you, hey, because we're supposed to be like communicating about that.
So yeah, let's step a little bit closer. Let's just see what happens, and let's be aware.
Okay.
Like I said, any more cold winds kick up as we take another step. Cold winds, horn sections, things like that. We move back.
Right.
You move forward, Thomas, and
Yeah.
you can now see that it appears that these are all names. They're first names and family names. Some of them antiquated names, some of them more contemporary, but all up and down names. And you
Top
can
to
see,
bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And now that you're closer to it, you can see the chalky residual. This is chalk. The stone.
So there's a bunch of names written in chalk on this stone.
Carved in chalk.
Carved in chalk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's made of...
It is like a giant piece of chalk that they have carved their names in.
Yes.
I don't like this.
It
seems
weird.
awfully creepy.
Gravish?
Yes, gravish. That's exactly the word I was looking for. Seems awful gravish.
Well, it does not seem to have anything to do with the dolmen stones, but I am going to mark this on my map for further investigation later on.
Perhaps a question for Mosselmeyer Druge should you arrive at his store in Prigwort.
Yes.
So, anything else we want to accomplish here?
Maybe write down some of the names to take with you.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
It's carved.
We're going to
in.
ask questions.
Could we take a
Rubbing.
Yes.
Yeah, you could if you had parchment from Thomas or whatever. Now, of course, like cataloging all these names would be
Sure, that's
God
a long
knows how
time.
long, but if you want to grab a couple real quick with a etching or a rubbing or however you want to collect a few just for...
Can we just write it down without touching the stone, at least for right now? Maybe later we can take the etching.
Sure. Yeah, I'll jot down
rubbing.
some of the names that are, I guess, the largest.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, just jot them down.
So you take 10 minutes or so doing that, and then the next move, just head back, regroup with the rest of the party.
Can we see anything else from up here?
You can see into the woods from all sides. You can see Lake Longmere.
Don't see another one of these chalk pillars some distance away on another plateau or anything?
No.
Okay.
You can see the road for some distance. You can see there's another bridge to cross. And then you see, like, kind of jutting out of the forest, looks like to the south of the road, like miles away, is a old decrepit looking bell tower.
Oh,
You know, probably a couple hours before you'll get in that direction. It looks like the road passes like relatively close by, so that you get the sense that the road is heading in that direction.
okay. Well, at least we can tell everybody what we've seen in terms of the road and the chalk. And maybe roll down the hill. No, it's too steep to roll down the hill. Okay.
All right. You all head down the hill, regroup with the others, share what you've seen, and then the plan is to continue down the road.
There's no magical fey properties that you know of, Silver, with chalk stone.
Good question. I guess, Alex, would that something I would know or I could consider? I don't have like a lore ability or anything, but I have experience with the fairy.
No.
Okay. Nothing I can think of, Thomas. I'm certain your people's ways, especially the Droon, may have some unusual rituals, but not that nothing fairy.
What if it's like a marker after someone completed a Dolmathon?
With
I think
Dolmenwood?
that's as likely as any other explanation. Maybe a little less likely. But what would a Dolmathon be, Topsy? Are we talking like...
Yeah, so what is that?
I'll take the bait.
It's for some reason we run like 25.6 miles in a direction somewhere and say you use it for the good of your health or whatever. I know.
Mhm.
It's like a race that I see mortals do.
Like from
crazy.
Domenstone to Domenstone.
Yeah, like that.
Do you
It'll-
drink a beer each time you go to a Domenstone?
It's kind of like an old story I heard, like of some great human warrior, like telling of a great battle they won against the fairy, and running all the way back to their town and then died on the spot after saying it like that. Dolmathon.
Maybe.
Okay.
Sure. I'll put it in my notes.
Do any of you have a hard stop at 11? Is it cool if we go a little bit over?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Sure.
Okay. I'm feeling not super long. Okay. Well, maybe we'll cut it here pretty quick then. So you travel for about another 20 minutes or so. At this point, the influence of the Ring of Chell, you would no longer feel the sickness. You would feel relief as you pass pretty close to a bridge that you see up ahead.
Now I'll tell that right to Thomas.
Okay.
All right.
You continue to travel. There's not much unique about this bridge. You cross over it, you're in the craggy woods, and it almost feels like the temperature drops a little bit as you cross the bridge. To the south, you see a cobblestoned avenue that diverges. It's overgrown, flanked with statuary, and it leads to the shattered gate of what looks to be like a very old abbey. And Lillibeth, you can see the tall, square bell tower that stands largely it's pretty close to that toppled gate, just on the other side. You hear crows kind of cawing, maybe like a dozen or so up there in the at the top of the tower, haunting its summit.
But they're crows.
Yeah, like the sounds of crows.
So this is the bell tower we saw. And it's too early to stop for the night, isn't it? Do we want to check this out? See if it has any connection?
It could be a place to that Saint What's-His-Face from the Nature Guy.
The Green Man?
No, the other saint.
Saint Amfast.
Yeah, Saint Am.
What time of day is it?
It's probably late morning, maybe around 11.
I'm fine with checking this out.
I'm interested that it's a ruin.
Might as well.
Yes, sure.
All right, perfect.
Father,
That's where we're going to end it.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Friar,
nowhere near
not
enough
father.
time to deal with this. So.
Okay.
All right. We will pause here as the group turns their attention due south. Man, this was a lot easier to get you to this point than I thought it would. I thought this was going to be like a whole lot of work to get you to go to this spot, but okay.
Did you think we were going to try to kill the vampire?
No, this is the start of the module that I want to do. Starts right here with you going down this road.
Oh, cool.
So you'll see it at least.
A ruined church, you know.
I suppose.
I thought we got horses and wine.
I don't know. The group has been so skittish of stuff like this that I thought it would have been like, there's no fucking way we're going towards the haunted, the chapel or whatever.
Well, we have a friar with us.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's a channel.
Right.
It's true. So
It's
awesome.
mid-morning.
Well, one session in, it felt very much like just getting back together with you all. So that was thanks for making a very smooth transition back into playing Dolmenwood.
Yes.
I think we'll go right back into our old practice of sharing with one another things that made the session stand out or special. And I just, I guess from my standpoint, appreciate all like the small little things that happen in terms of exploration and describing that, even just like pulling out a bit of rope from Moreen. This is how we're going to try to inspect this weirdness in the river, and we're gonna, laying out like exactly how you're going to use different pieces of equipment and such that you have to like put a plan together to do something with the small things, and trying to do better at putting the notes down so I can reference them when they inevitably come up later. So,
Well,
I'll
I will.
jump in. Oh, go ahead, Thomas.
I was just going to say, first off, it's great to be back with all of you guys. Absolute ball. And I'll just throw out props to Isaac and Ryan for the whole using the weed to figure out how to cook better. I thought was hilarious. So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
An interesting use.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it was a nice reaction to like over getting lore. So like we're just going for small lore now, and just where can we find some fungus?
Right. Yeah.
But I would say I'll throw my gratitude out. I was actually I'll throw it to Ryan as well. I thought really enjoyed weaving some of the backstory back with his like Bregel wife, and just kind of like bringing us back into that naturally, and just having us a little bit of flashback. Good for us as players. It's been so long, but also just good for like everyone involved. Just kind of as a reminder about that. So it was good.
Yeah, I'll second that too. I think my appreciation is for the way in which the brothers played on the brother strength, the way in which, Ryan, you brought in all of the backstory in such a natural way, how Geoffrey were right from the very beginning, and that's just great role play. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a cop out, but I'm just gonna throw it out to everybody because it was just so mine out to everyone because it was so fun to kind of fall back into the characters, find the characters again, remember everybody's like character idiosyncrasies and stuff, and it really does feel like we got the band back together,
Mhm.
and we're on a mission from God, and so
Yes.
we're gonna do this.
But not Topsy's god. Topsy is a god.
Someone says you're a god, you say yes.
Yes.
And I will throw this out also, that actually having Apu talk, and that it's like
Brilliant.
a small English boy accent is freaking hilarious.
I was gonna say that was the perfect choice.
Yeah, it was.
It's just
That's great.
great.
Can I have more, please? I'm waiting for that one.
That's great. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll just throw mine out and say thanks for putting up with the random nonsense I'm pulling out of nowhere, just for a reason, and for me poking at Isaac every chance I can get and say, "Hey, don't you have a saint for this? What is it?" And he's like, let's see. Yes, there is one.
Let me
Yeah,
check.
top
my
tier.
There
My
is one.
second gratitude. So for just bringing some levity. But
It was good. We needed that to get going to the next
mhm.
part. So yes, I'd say I'll do a cop out and say I want to thank everyone for just kind of it does feel good. It's like that having that kind of, I don't know. It's something that it's when you hear that certain song or something, or when you hear something and it takes you back to a certain time. It's like this, having this group together, role playing. It's a fun time. Kind of timeless. feeling, but feels good.
Well,
Great.
thanks everybody. We're back on maybe a more limited schedule than we were previously. So our next game will be essentially the sequence is we're trying to follow is the last Saturday of every month we will stream, and then I will very promptly try to get it all edited for the folks who support the Patreon. You'll get that pretty much within the next week. And about a week after that, I will have it up for everybody else. So you can go and check out our Patreon page if you want to support what we're doing and get it on that. Otherwise, yeah, just check us out when you can. And it's been amazing to hear all the people that have been sticking with us and still watching and caring about these characters and their stories. It's awesome. So, yeah. Thanks, everybody. We're going to call it a night here,
Thank you.
and we'll see y'all next time.
Good
So-
night, all.
Throw a
Night.
raid
Night.
out here real quick to the Grimbeard Adventures. So, thanks.
Ooh.
Should have clicked that as I was wrapping up instead of right now. So now we're just sitting here waiting.
Doopy doo doo
Doopy doo.
doo.
Bye.
Bye.